Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures. Today we're going to be doing some more G.I. Joe classified series. This is of course the Trench Viper and the Cobra Modular Fortifications. This one is number 151 in the G.I. Joe line. Of course, for once, we don't have to go to the back of the package to see what we have as a bit of some spoilers. As you can see, there's some different constructions for this modular building system. Over here we have the Cobra Rattler, and of course we have a few Trench Vipers. There's not much on the box, a bit of drawing on the side. Over here we have a QR code that brings you to nowhere, and some little information behind. And if you take overlook, you're going to be seeing some of the details of what you get in the package. This picture is not accurate to what you get in the box. There's some extra parts that are not shown over here, a few of them, and we're going to be having a closer look at it when we be diving into seeing the box. Of course, as this is a brand new item and has never been made before, so there is no history about this figure. So I guess we're going to be diving in immediately into this box. Maybe something to know also about this box before we have a look at what we get in it. Of course, this is an item that came out in 2025, and it's still made in China. So I don't understand why it came so late. And the suggested retail price for this box is €54.99, €64.99 euros if you live in Europe, and the only way to get this was directly going through Hasbro Pulse in your different countries or in the different parts where Hasbro Pulse delivers. Otherwise, you're not getting it. Now, straight out of the door, there's something very stupid that Hasbro has done on this box, and the fact is you are limited to only purchase 3 per client, and this is technically an army building set, but we're going to have a look at that more when I'm going to be reviewing what's in the box. So without further ado, let's get into the box itself. So for a change, we're going to be doing some unboxing. I must say that I did take a bit of advantage because I already opened 2 of these over here, so we get these boxes back again. I thought it would be the end of it, and not only it's not the end of it, but we get again these little plastic bags or bags that is good for recycling. Now you have to watch out, some of them were not closed properly on some of the ones I opened. Opened it and everything came pouring out, so of course we don't really care about this. Let's get everything out of here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be putting everything out over here so that we can have a look at what we get and compare it to the exactitude of what was behind the box. So of course, as you can see already here, we're getting a little bit more bits and pieces, and I'm going to explain to you when I'm going to be building it up and when there's going to be my final thoughts about it, because there's a lot of interesting items to point out over here. So of course we have the shield, we have 2 of these over here. Surprisingly, this part is not included. These 2 parts are not included. These are already marked over here. I guess they must have put them in like that. Yeah. So this is a bit of a tricky way of doing it. We do have the light, the radar. Yes, it does show you over here. You have the tube for the 50 cal. Then we have this little part over here that is for fixing the 50 cal. Then we also have a part for the 50 cal. We have the ammo belt. Over here we have 4 little ones of these little pieces over here that we'll be looking into deeper afterwards. And let's continue with this. Over here we have 4 of these who are not the best thing. These things have a tendency of firing by themselves. You will see when I'm going to be trying to build this up. These are 2 more attachers over here, and over here we have some more attachers. So of course, as something that is nice to have, we do get a manual in this box over here. So you can see the little pegs over here are to build up the ladder if you want to make it go up to another floor. As you can see, it explains you how to fit the 50 cal, how you can put it, and depending the height of it. So yeah, a lot of interesting information over here. So let's push this a bit. Whoops, come back here, you. This is the problem with these small pieces. They have a tendency of going all over the place. So of course, here is our trench viper. So of course, not much different. As you may know, this is of course repaint of the Halley Viper. I think we got the original Halley Viper, then we got the Crimson Viper, and I think that's about it for now. And then the Trench Viper, this would make it the third one of these repaints that Hasbro has done. So of course, this one never came out before. They did a few other versions of this figure, but this one never came out. So of course, if you already see, I think I did the review of this figure, so I'm not going to go into much more details because I'm just going to show you the figure off afterwards. Just going to gear him up a little bit and put the knives in place. And then we're just going to go into opening what else is in the box. And I will be giving you a closer look of this figure. So of course I'm pulling this out a bit like madman, but I'm just going to go and picking up a small cutter over here, so then I can just remove it. So over here we have the famous sandbags. Over here we have the ladders. Don't really care about the boxing because anyway, I'm just going to put it. So 2 ladders, of course, and over here you would have to try to cut it out over here. We're going to try to do this one properly. The other ones I just pulled it out and cut it pretty much like a crazy madman. So over here we're going to be pulling this one out. Of course, it doesn't want to come. Yes, it is coming. Oh yes, got shortage there. And we're going to be pulling out the rest of it. So let's throw this aside. Let's put this aside. And here, of course, we have the different paneling over here. Top, bottom, the armor rack, and of course the front of the bunker. So I'm going to be putting this over here, and of course without forgetting the famous shield on our Halley Viper or Trench Viper, because this is the one over here. So let's have a closer look at all the bits and pieces. So of course we're going to be starting by the Halley Viper or the Trench Viper, like he is called. As you can see, roughly you're getting exactly the same figure. So yeah, it is basically the same. There's the little Cobra silver logo. He does have also the protections. The vest doesn't change. I do like the pattern on the uniform. This kind of digital camo works pretty well on the figure, I must say. Of course, you have Century over here written as on the figure. You have, of course, the 2 knives over here. This doesn't change. The figure looks pretty neat. I do like the idea, and I think this one works a bit better than the orange and blue one, even if that's the one I grew up with and I kind of like because he was some kind of a bit like a SWAT or a special force unit. But this would make more sense if you would be going out on a combat, on a night mission. This would be more proper camouflage that you'd be using. Over here they did a pretty good job also doing it on the, how do you call it, on the shield. I'm going to be putting a bit more light over here because we can't really see, but there's a bit of a different blue with the dark, so it's going to be putting up some extra light over here. Even with the extra light, it is pretty hard to see, but you can see over here we have some different blues. Again, this white grayish. The Cobra emblem is painted, of course, like the other ones. Halley Vipers has some information in its shield. Of course, this one, on the other ones, this I remember was a bit spinning, but on this one doesn't seem to be working. So maybe be careful. Of course, now we're continuing with the different weapons. Of course, we have Cobra's 50 cal, so it's pretty cool. You have your, if you can say, if you're playing with this in your sandpit and you don't know who the weapons belong to, it is a little Cobra. So of course this weapon was given with the 60th anniversary figure, the action soldier. It was also given with roadblock. So again, this 50 cal is nothing new with the two different handles over here that you should clips in very easily. You can should exchange them. Oops, wrong way around. As you can see, nothing more extra. The ammo belt is roughly also a bit the same. Would I have liked to see maybe, how do you say, an ammo box to go with it, or maybe a longer, so you could put it down on the floor and have it holding in this kind of position, would have been a nice little add-on. But afterwards, let's not complain too much. Afterwards, of course, there is this little item over here. So as you can see, this is what you're going to be using if you want to make this as a machine gun mount. So of course, this is the other parts. As you can see, there's some little pins over here. And if you go over here, you're going to see in this here, you have different pins. So that means you can determine at which level you want to fix the machine gun. So you can have it pretty tall over here. So you have to watch out, because some of these pegs over here, you can see, have the pegs, and some don't have the pegs. So that means if you want to put it in, then that means you need to have the matching ones. Let's see. Okay, so as you can see, it does hold pretty well, and this gives you a vibe of how high you could put the machine gun. Then afterwards, you can open it pretty easily, and then you can decide how you want to do it. So let me take this up. There we go. You should pull it off very simply, and it comes off really easy. Of course, you will have the other mount also, because you could use it if you want to put your searchlight on. Let's say you can want to put it in this way, and you want to put your searchlight. You can also put your radar dish in here. It works also. So you can see radar dish while I'm at it. And where did my lamp go? Okay, I have it. So as you can see, pretty simple. Over here we have the searchlight. It's nothing really extraordinary, but it's pretty well detailed and does work pretty well. Could it have been black in the same color? Yeah, why not? But I can understand also that they wanted to go gray, because they wanted to go in the same color as the one that you would be putting on your roof. So, of course, this is something pretty interesting. Of course, over here, we're going to be coming back to these little pegs over here. So these are these famous little pegs that go into the ladder on top here. And you would be doing it by pushing them in. I haven't had fun with the two ones I built, because two is not enough. So as you can see, you should put them in as simple as this. And then you should come with the other ladder, and then you should clip it, and everything goes into place. Now, you might notice that there's a missing bar. There should be an extra bar on the bottom here. So because there's a huge difference. So that would be something that Hasbro might want to rework, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think they should have added a little bar on the bottom, so you have one who's regular like this, who would be the one on the bottom, and then afterwards you should clip it in. And the fact that it has the bar over here would make sense to have the different bars. So as you can see, it holds pretty well. Now, talking about the other parts that were not announced on the box are the following ones. Now, this is for people who are going to army build. Okay, because these are clips that are going to be used to bring up the joints. As you can see over here, if you want to do it, you have to clip it in over here and over here. So you see, if you want to join maybe two of these to make a double bunk, I'm going to show it to you when I'm going to be taking the one already built up, and I want to use this one as a third one. And over here, same principle for the paneling over here. Of course, you want to have these clips in over here, and that's why the reasoning that these guys are over here. So as you can see, pretty simple. Then there's also an indication in which way to go. So you have some writing on the things, so it does tell you a bit. Bit hard to see what it's written with the shining doors, security. Yeah. So as you can see, interesting. Now we're going to come to these little parts over here, and personally I think these parts are a bit of pain in the butt, because what happens is you should be using these to joint your two panels. Okay, so if you're going to come over here, of course it's not going to work because the paneling is like this, but let's see if we can, yeah, they're not at the same height, but I was trying to clip them in this way over here, and they have a tendency of bouncing out. They don't really hold well together. I will show you that with the other ones that are open, but this comes in over here, and I've been mucking around trying to fix them in, and they have a tendency of shooting off. So not the best way of attaching it, but I must say that it's nice to have it. And as you can see, I have 3 of them, one that I kept mint in box. Personally, I'm really wondering if I'm going to rebuy one on Hasbro Pulse Europe, because these modular sets are pretty cool, and you can really build something that's pretty nice. Of course, the sandbags over here, nothing special. It's just molded and works pretty well. So I'm going to show you quickly how to build it up. Of course, you have 2 different ways of putting the modular system. So this is the right way round with the 2 pegs over here. And when you're going to put the roof on, the roof comes over on this way like this. Okay, so it's very simple. I'm going to remove these pegs over here that I'm not going to be needing for now. And we're just going to do a simple build of how this should look in general. So anyway, let's add the last part over here. So this looks very similar to what we have in the HISS tank. Okay, so you should put this over here. It clips this. It doesn't matter, you can put it on any wall you want. As you can see, you should push it in and it holds in. Then afterwards, what you have to do, it should come like this. As you see, there's not much of a gap over here. That's pretty nice. Over here we have a nice little Cobra logo on it. So let's put this in as such, as you can see. And then let's put this over here. As you see, there's some little holes over here. And you will have the same on the bottom. And the only thing you need to do is just clips everything in. As you can see, it fits pretty neatly. Of course, the reason why you have this little pegs over here, they're not to make your figures hold, who's a bit of a disappointment, if we can say it in that way. So let's see, yeah, that's too high. So that means it must be on this level here. Let me check. Yeah, also it's on the lowest one. So put this up, as you can see. Then you should come over here, and this is done to put your machine gun in the position over here. You see, it should hold in pretty well. And then afterwards you're going to come over with your roof, and you're going to do the same operation. And there we are, you have your little bunker, who looks pretty neat. And of course you're going to be coming over here. This is why you have these little holes. These are to fit your radar dish in, as you can see. Pretty simple, efficient, and I guess this is what you want from your line. So of course, if you want to climb, you need to go. Of course it doesn't work, and that's the way you're going to be clips in. It works with the same way with the clips that I showed you. So you can put your ladder over here and just slide it along, and then you have your post done. So it looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go and pick up the other ones, and I'm going to give it a spin so you can admire my build, because this is, like it said, it is modular. And this is why I think it's really a shame that they didn't say more about it, but that would be more on my thoughts about this set. But I'm going to build one up, and I'm going to give it a spin so you can look what it gives when you add more than 2 or 3 modular containers for this thing. So, what are my final thoughts about this modular building, and also, do I think this is a collectible item? So, the collectible item to it is definitely there, due to the fact that it's sold out in the US. Even if you watch it on Hasbro's website, they will tell you it's in stock, but you cannot add to the cart. Now, while I had some fun building this up, I should put it like this. There's so many different possibilities, but I'm going to give it a spin. So these are 3 sets put together. So yeah, as I said, this is a highly collectible item because it's sold out, and a lot of people right now are regretting that they missed out on it and are definitely wanting to pick up some more. So yes, if you can get some, pick it up. It's going to be a cool set. And due to the fact that Hasbro has moved out of China, there's a high chance that this set may not be re-edited anytime soon. We have to see. It would be interesting to see how it works. Over here I have the little plastic pegs who go in. They don't really hold well on these sets. They hold better on the other ones. So yeah, I'm going to give so enjoy it while it's spinning around. Now, my final thoughts about this set. Well, the set itself, it's an interesting set. I think certain stuff could be done better, like the pegs holding the different plates together could work better, but otherwise than that, it's really hard to say. Maybe I would have liked to see an extra weapon, but due to the fact that we get so many weapons with Cobra, you could use those weapons with the other figures to add them over here because you have a rack to put them on, so that's not a problem. But I would have liked to see maybe something a bit more than just a sidearm, due to the fact that he is defending. The Trench Viper is perfect. I mean, he looks pretty cool. He looks really, with this camouflage, looks really great, and is something definitely that I would like to see more. We already got this kind of set in the 25th anniversary line where they did some Night Force versions of the Cobra Troopers, and they had the same kind of markage, maybe not the same kind of camo, but they really came out pretty good. So yeah, these Vipers are pretty good. Trench Vipers are pretty good. They are my favorite versions of the Heli Viper, even if I did like the orange and blue ones back in the day. But these are even better due to the fact that they have a kind of more military, real-life vibe to it than being orange and blue. So yeah, really top-notch. If I would have to put something on a downplay, I would say that Hasbro, you should really have thought to maybe release this a bit like Hot Toys does, with an exclusive version who comes with the Trench Viper, and then you should release a more regular version, even if you continue selling them through your website. But give us the possibility to build more of this item, because this is really the only negative point I have to say, is Hasbro was letting us only purchase 3 per client. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is done to be built. The more you have, the more fun you can have with it. I saw somebody took a picture of one that he had 4 modular bases. Really gives some kind of cool vibe to it. And it's really, really great to do. But limited it by 3. Like I said, this should have been sold like the mortar rounds, the bunker, all these kinds of other items that you did back in the day in the Real American Hero line. These sets should have been sold without figures because it is a good set. Now, this is why I would give you a 9 out of 10 on average, because for me, this was a big missed opportunity. I understand that you're exploring and people are starting to discover, because these are the first sets, but you really need to reissue this version of these modular buildings, because they are really fantastic and really deserve to be released and being given to the people to be able to build these up, because I mean, it is pretty brilliant. And without thinking about it, if you look at it, you could build up a position for the Rattler. I'm going to be taking some pictures. I have a few ideas that I want to do, but this could be a outpost for the Cobra Rattler landing due to the fact that it has vertical takeoff. There's so many possibilities to be able to do something. The other part that I'm not kind of too cool about is the sandbanks. As you can see, it's very hard to try to put them together and get some kind of continuity, because you would have to have them overlapping because it will not make sense. But you will not have such a gap. You will need to have them in this way if you wanted to give them this kind of more realistic position. But they should be all in one line. So this is something that could be done or corrected in any future sets that you want to bring out. But for me, it's going to be a 9 out of 10. It should be a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. The fact that you limited the figure and the possibility to purchase them by 3. That's a huge mistake on the part of Hasbro, due to the fact that this was one of your products. This is not like a general release that you could have picked it up if you missed it on Hasbro Pulse. If you didn't get it, you can't get it. For the people in Europe, yeah, it's still available. But for US, currently, it's not available. And due to the fact that you changed of production place, will you redo them? Will you not redo them? This is the big mystery question. Anyway, that's going to be it for my review of the Cobra Trench Viper and the modular building that goes with it. If you like this kind of videos, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. Do you agree with me? Do you think this is a cool set? Do you think this set should have also been released as without the Trench Viper? Should Hasbro have given us the possibility to buy 5 or more of these sets? Let me know. Let's start a conversation and let's talk between collectors about it. Tell me if you did manage to get it. Also, I'd be kind of curious to know more about this on your behalf of the collector. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!